Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to another episode of the Conscious Kitchen podcast and our extension, the Conscious Tea. Welcome. We're going to be having a great episode today. Welcome, Liz. We're going to be talking with Nicole Cruz, who is a certified life coach, and we're going to be talking about shaping our belief systems to help support us in the new year. So we'll be chatting with Nicole, and we're going to bring my co-host Liz in, and we're just going to be chatting more and more about, different things that we could do to really, support our goals for the next year. And yeah, hey Chris, thank you so much for joining. I'm going to go ahead and let you guys in. Thank you so much for joining today. I'm going to go ahead and accept Nicole. And yeah, so thank you guys so much for joining in. Go ahead and get some questions going. Hey, Nicole, welcome.
Hey Laura, how are you?
Hi, Happy New Year.
Happy
Merry
New
Christmas.
Year.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so we're gonna just go ahead and let Liz join in. I'm sure Instagram's gonna go ahead and just add her to our chat. Hey, Kiki, welcome. Hey guys, thank you so much. This is Nicole Cruz. She's coming from Italy. Um,
Yes. Ciao.
Yeah. Okay. So I accepted Liz again. So hopefully we'll be able to get Liz coming into our chat soon. Welcome, you guys. Uh, Go ahead, Liz. Maybe you can go ahead and just try to accept us again. It says request sent. So yeah, there's always some issues here with the third party person. Okay, so she's unable to join. Try one more time. Yeah. So Nicole, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Sure.
Hopefully we can just, if we can't get Liz to come in one more time, we'll just restart the live again. Oh, there she is. Hey,
Oh,
Liz.
yay.
Hello. Hi. Hi, Nicole. Nice to meet
Hello.
you.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I know it's always tricky for like that third person to get in, but I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm ready to talk
Yeah.
2022.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for joining. This is Nicole Cruz. She helps first and second generation immigrants step into their power. She also does these amazing programs where you can sign up and we'll talk about that at the very end of the segment. But yeah, Nicole, tell us about yourself and thank you so much for joining the Conscious Tea.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for having me. This is such a nice way to round out 2021. So
Yeah.
I'm Nicole Cruz. I go by the pronoun she, her. I am a life coach for change makers of color. And what I love supporting that community in doing is to really liberate themselves, like unlearn their oppressive belief systems, uncover who they truly are, and unleash their liberation, whatever that looks like for them. So I'm so happy to be here to talk about our beliefs, to talk about 2022 goals. I'm sure it's top of mind for everyone right now. And so happy to be here with you all.
Yay, awesome. Thank you so much. And yeah, so if you guys go ahead, if you see anyone that would be interested in joining this live, go ahead and share it to them. There's a little share button here on the bottom right. And just say hi and join us in the chat while we go ahead and just, dissect some of these questions that we have for Nicole. And go ahead and go ahead, follow Nicole and follow the Conscious Kitchen if from Nicole's friends. Hey guys. Cool. So why are we dissecting our belief systems today? And what are these belief systems?
Yeah. So, our belief systems are they're different than thoughts. Our belief systems are what we operate from. So that they're the way we see ourselves, they're the beliefs we have about how the world works. And whether we're conscious of it or not, what we believe shapes our results. It shapes what we do, how we feel, or the actions that we take. And so um, a lot of times, and unless we're aware of these belief systems, we'll just keep operating under them without really knowing, why is it that I do this? Why are my results this way when I want them to be different? And we learn a lot of this. I mean, our belief systems are really shaped from what we learn as kids, what we see modeled for us, what we're taught by society, and of course, very impacted by how other people perceive us and that could apply if you're identify as a person of color, if you identify as a woman, like how others see us also impacts like the lessons that we're taught and the belief systems that we're taught to have.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that. I really love how you're saying, stemming from our backgrounds and our, our upbringing and everything like that. Cause I think everyone deals with that as like, yeah, as you mentioned, as you served like the first and second generation community.
Yeah, what are some of
Totally.
those struggles that you often see presented with the first and second generation like immigrant community?
Yeah, so there's definitely a lot of themes that come through. So I've worked with this community pretty selectively for 3 years now. And so what I've seen a lot is there's one of the beliefs that comes up a lot is that we need to struggle in order to deserve good things, or we need to struggle in order to have good things. And while that could serve us and like, okay, we're not afraid of hard work, we're down to like do, do the hard things. How it can hold us back is, sometimes we'll get a good thing, but we feel like we didn't deserve it because it wasn't hard enough. Or we'll create struggle because we think that's what we need to do in order to have good things. And so a lot of times that could come up, and really sometimes we create problems that don't need to be there, or we feel like we don't deserve the good things in our life. Another belief that comes up is kind of like always looking, like planning for worst case scenario. Like instead of believing like something great could happen, and if I tried this new thing, something amazing could happen from it. Usually it's like, oh shoot, if I try this new thing, let me think of the worst thing that could happen and plan for that. Yeah. So I don't know if that resonates with any of you.
Yeah, I'm sure that resonates with some of like our viewers. Let us know if that resonates. That super resonates with me. I'd love to ask, like, is that thinking, like, would you consider that something that's not beneficial? Like that last point that you said, something, planning for the worst, is that not something that's really beneficial when you're planning future goals?
Yeah, so it's double-edged, right? So we have that belief because we learned it and because it has served us and our ancestors before, right? So it's a learned belief because they did have to plan for worst case scenario. They did have to, they did have to make sure that they had their basics and took the safe route. When it comes to us and our planning, it can really hurt us because then we usually set the bar lower of what is actually possible for ourselves because we're just planning for the worst that could happen. So instead of maybe believing that's, we could get that job that we want, or that promotion, or, that relationship that we want. If we're thinking worst case scenario, we might set the bar lower, but we tell ourselves, I'm just being realistic. I'm just being realistic. I'm setting the bar lower, when actually that doesn't have to be the truth.
Yeah, those are great points. I definitely suffered that. I mean, not suffered, but I guess through my family upbringing as a Filipino American, we kind of have that mentality as well. Like, especially I realized with my father, he was very much always prepared for the worst. Y2K, like back then, it was just like it was overwhelming as a child. So I have those same beliefs almost instilled in me.
Yeah, and I think some of us might even look at, because speaking for me personally and maybe other people, sorry, I have like this timer set up that locks me out. Sorry. I lost my train of thought. Oh, was it?
As you were younger, you were mentioning.
It was that maybe some of us in the room might think that these constructs are things that are actually beneficial to us, that they help us, that they like, that they're setting us up for the future. So almost like having that really clear self-acknowledgement of I don't know, who you are and how you look at things and how you look at plans is just something that's super helpful to have so that you can then, I guess, alter and change course?
Yeah, I really love you bringing that up because how I always like to teach about beliefs, because sometimes we can be really hard on ourselves about like, man, why do I have this fear? Why do I believe this? You know, why do I have this like ceiling on what's possible for myself? How I like to approach it is with a ton of self-compassion. Like there is a reason why, and it's you're not the originator of it. You know, it comes from generational beliefs. It comes from what, you know, we've seen in the world. And so, yeah, having that awareness that we believe it because it has served us in some way, but we also get to choose now if it still serves us or if it's now holding us back.
Yeah. And so you serve so many clients and so many different types of nationalities and ages. And what do you think would be like the underlying or like the kind of majority theme for limiting self belief system? What is kind of like something that always up comes?
Yeah. So I would say, look, everyone has a ceiling. There's different levels, and it really depends again on what you've seen modeled for you, what you believe in. So if you're feeling like you have a ceiling, it's okay. It's normal. Everyone has it. Usually you'll know when you're reaching it, when you feel some fear come up, when you kind of tell yourself, oh, I want that, but I don't think it's possible. And what I would encourage you to do is to just question it. Just invite the possibility that that doesn't have to be true. And that could even be like, okay, I want this thing, but I'm telling myself it's not possible. What if it was possible? What could I do? What is one step that I could take? What are other examples in the world that I've seen this happening for other people? So really just starting to like challenge it, because again, these beliefs, we're operating under them as if they were truth because they're going unchecked. So I just invite you to just check it. Just check it a little bit. Just invite in the possibility of something different.
Yeah. So I guess it would be kind of hard just to when you're thinking about it, you kind of just bypass it or, try to, just keep reconsider the story that's playing in your head. What can we do physically to challenge our negative self-beliefs, for example?
Yeah. So the first thing I think is to, again, just bring that awareness, create space to bring awareness to like, okay, what do I want to, so for example, what is one thing you want to create for 2022? And what would you need to believe in order for that to happen? In order for you to be able to create that? And then really just, and I invite you to like take a journal, write it down, like write down what you would have to believe, and just look at each of those beliefs and ask yourself, is this something that I can wrap my mind around? Is this something that I want to start believing? And then I really want to challenge you to start looking for evidence that that belief could be true. Because what's happening right now under our current belief system, we're just like filtering the world on that belief system. So if you believe like there's no way that I could get that promotion, you'll just start looking for all of the evidence that tells you that's true. Whereas if you want to try shifting it, like, okay, it could be possible that I could create that. What are all the pieces of evidence that show you that could actually happen, that could actually be a true belief? Maybe it's you got a great review. Maybe it's you took classes this year and you educated yourself in order to be eligible for that promotion. So whatever it is, really start challenging yourself to look for pieces of evidence that support what you want to believe. I hope that made sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, that's perfect. That makes so much sense. What if what if the what did you say? Sorry, my mind is all over the place today. What if the examples of how things could have worked out aren't as clear as something like, you know, you took classes? What if they're a little bit harder to uncover? Do you have any advice for people that like might have, you know, just moments like that?
Totally. Yeah. And sometimes it's not super tangible.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're in that space, what I would encourage you to do is to just pick something that you are proud of that you've created, or something that is going well for you right now.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of looking at it as, I got lucky, I was in the right place, right time, it was because there were certain circumstances in place, what did you do in order to create that? And what are like the inner resources you called on in order for that to be your current reality? What I find a lot in the community I serve is that we tend to downplay our gifts, we tend to downplay our strengths. And it's kind of under the guise of like humility and modesty. And I just want to encourage everyone to really celebrate yourself of like, what are the things within yourself that you had to use in order to create what you wanted. And so that's kind of like a form of affirmation, but really just taking stock of like, these are the facts. Like, this is factual stuff that I already have within me, that I've already done, to kind of support more evidence that, okay, if I could create this, and if I had the inner resources for this, then maybe I could apply that to this other thing that I want.
Yeah.
Ooh, love it, Nicole. Yeah, I love that. Just, with my clients, I love to just, start with like, okay, what's your small wins for the week? Because we always feel like we're not ever doing enough, or we're not like contributing enough. And then we're also bypassed by, oh, don't have grind culture, and like, don't do too much, it's like we're constantly battling this war within ourselves. So I really love that. Just finding the small evidence, maybe, yeah, writing it down, maybe looking back at your old journals. Those are all really helpful, Nicole. Thank you so much. Yeah. Hey guys, thank you so much for joining. Awesome. So far, we're talking to Nicole Cruz, who is a certified life coach, and we're talking about belief systems this year and how these belief systems can support our goals for 2022. It's in 2 days, y'all. Are you guys excited, or what's going on? How are you guys feeling about it?
Damn.
I'm ready.
2 days. That made it real.
2 days.
Dang.
Yeah.
So cool. So Nicole, why do you think our belief systems, it takes, okay, I'm 35 and I've had the possibly same belief systems for the past 10 years. But how can, besides these amazing facts that you just talked about and ways that we can, what are some ways like how we can practice in our daily life so we can reprogram these belief systems? Like, I mean, it took me like 15 years to build these. How do we unbuild them?
Yeah, that's the thing, right? So they're beliefs because they're thoughts that we have practiced over and over again for decades, right? For decades. And so with building new beliefs, it does take a bit of work. It does take practice. It's the example I use with clients is like, imagine you're building a new muscle, right? You're not gonna build that muscle in one rep, right? You need to keep picking it up, keep picking up that weight, keep picking up that belief. And so in order to build these new beliefs that you want, I really call it belief practice, because you have to practice having them every day. So that might look like writing it down, writing down pieces of evidence that support it, and to move it beyond the intellectual, right? Because there's all these different levels of integration. A fun way to do it is also to imagine yourself already believing it, and then making one choice that day from that belief. So if you believe if the belief you're working on is, I am good enough as I am, right? That's the one that I had to work on a lot. I am good enough as I am. If I really believe that right now, what's one decision I would make differently than I would make if I didn't believe that? So then you also show yourself like, wow, it is possible to make different choices. It is possible to embody this person that already believes it. And it's a practice. So, you know, there's going to be days when you're like, hell yes, I believe this. It feels so good. There's going to be days when it's a little tougher, and that's okay. That's part of the process. But really just reconnecting to like, why is it important for you to believe this? And why is it important for you to build that muscle? Like, what could you create if you truly believe that?
I love how you put everything together. It's so beautiful and perfect.
She is a certified life coach, guys. So definitely, if you need, we need one. We're going to talk about her programs at the end of the session. So if you guys have any questions for Nicole, go ahead and add us to the chat box. We are looking at all your guys' love and chat. Yes. So thank you so much, Thrive with Kiki. She is my current client. So thank you so much for, you know, putting some love in the chat. And Chris said, flex that muscle. Yeah, definitely flex the muscle. It takes time. Gotta, you know, and all the support it needs to create that muscle.
Yeah. I
And
would add there.
Go ahead.
So
go ahead.
I would add there. You know, as you're flexing that muscle and building this new belief, sometimes you got to make space for it, right? Sometimes you have a current belief that conflicts with that new one that you want to have. So I also want to invite you to give yourself permission to release that belief you don't want anymore. I know it served you. I know it's been, you know, it's been there for you. But to be able to like bless and release it with love, like, thank you belief, for being with me and for serving me. But for where I'm going, you don't serve a purpose right now. So a lot like creating space for that new belief, that new muscle you're building too.
And would you say that like maybe writing these things down is like very important, or are there like some tips that just help reinforce this, just make it a stronger hold in your mind?
Yeah, I definitely encourage writing it down. There's something in writing it that makes the intangible tangible, right? So it's not just like something in your head. It's something that you can look at, that you can remind yourself. Something that my life coach has taught me is even like picking like a tangible object, like something that reminds you of what you want to believe, something that when you touch it, feel it, look at it, it just connects you back to like why it's important for you to like believe this new thing. That could be a way, again, of making the intangible tangible. But for me, I definitely do a daily belief practice of writing the new belief down, writing down pieces of evidence, and just really like anchoring myself in, okay, this is the new truth that I want to operate under.
Woo, powerful. Yes, Nicole. I wish there was 100 of you just talking to everyone like, hey, 2022 is happening. You gotta, you know, limit yourself belief. Yeah, thank you so much. So all these different strategies, there's writing, there's affirmations, there's visualization, there's meditation, there's positive self-affirmations and talk. Like, what do you think, to me, like, what do you think is like the most powerful in the toolkit of it all?
Ooh, oh my gosh. It's like, that's like picking your favorite child or something. They're all so good.
Yeah.
I would say personally, for me, I love like a guided visualization. And especially for the community that I serve, and anyone who's watching this, if you identify as someone who tends to analyze a lot, be really comfortable like in your head, maybe overanalyze sometimes, I find that visualizations actually help to kind of skip the mind and actually get into like a deeper wisdom, deeper intuition. And so that's my go-to whenever I'm really feeling lost, when I'm, when the writing's not happening for me, is I'll go to a guided visualization and just allow myself to bypass the brain a bit and tap in with the body wisdom.
That infinite source of wisdom, huh? Love that.
Yeah,
That's great.
yeah.
Yeah, Nicole.
It's always there for you.
Yeah. And so are you, how does, you sometimes we see life coaches or we see people that seems to have it so together, are there things that you struggle with that, yeah. Yeah. And how do you, I guess, how do you tackle them personally, or as ever much as like you're willing to share?
I'm happy to bust the myth. Like, no one has it together, y'all. Life coaches, even with all the tools I have, I was sharing the other month, like I was on the couch crying my eyes out, feeling like a failure. Like, it's evolution and transformation is not linear. It's not like I just take this step and I take this step and like on and on and on. I really like to present it as like cyclical. So like, we're going to grow, we're going to change, we're going to learn. And then because we're learning, we're going to challenge ourselves. And then the fear is going to come up and the doubt. And like, you're going to be in this valley and then on and on. And so for me, I know when I'm in that place of my go-tos are self-doubt, fear of failure, and wanting to hide. And so I know when those are coming up, it's kind of like a cue for me, like, okay, something's about to happen. I'm going through another cycle here. What is it that I am needing to learn right now? And so what has helped me through those valleys is actually allowing myself to feel them, like not trying to self-coach myself out of them, not trying to like just zoom past it, to let myself be in it as much as it sucks sometimes, because that's the only way that I actually move through it and actually find some release from it, instead of like, no, it's okay, I'm a life coach, I know how to deal with that, like I'm gonna just put that to the side. Yeah, it's really important to feel it because it's there for a reason. It's wanting to be felt, it's wanting to be acknowledged. But yeah, I really love that question because there's no perfection. There's no like everyone's got it together. We all go through it.
Yeah, I think that transparency is so important because otherwise we look at other people as this unattainable, goal that we can't really reach. Oh my gosh, everything is so perfect for them. They know how to cope. It's like their system is so in place, but just letting us know that no, everyone, it's not linear. And I think nothing in life is linear, right? It's like grief is not linear. Goal planning is not linear. It's like everything is just so all over the place. And we just got to deconstruct that thought of, I'm here and I want to get there. And it's like a straight path. It's like it's never been a straight path to anything.
It's never a straight path for sure.
Yeah. I want to say thanks to everyone that's here because like people have been tuned in the entire time. So thanks everyone for just being here and showing up for yourself, right? And learning from Nicole and deeply resonating with all these things that you're going to hopefully take into 2022 and beyond. And Laura and I, as the Conscious Kitchen podcast, we're streaming. We have 41 episodes streaming. So we have so many different resources, mental health resources, and other things that can hopefully help you guys into 2022. So definitely check us out in like the link in bio and all of our different things.
So cool. Yeah, Nicole. And thank you, Liz, for dropping that in. Nicole, tell us why are you drawn to this type of work and why are you called to it?
Yeah, so I spent the first, so I'm 38 right now. I spent the first 32-ish years of my life really in fear, like living a fear-based life, making fear-based choices, really on like that survival programming. And so I know what it's like to feel at the mercy of your thoughts and your feelings, what it's like to, know you're playing it safe and there's more meant for you. Um, and now I've experienced the other side of it where I do feel like I'm living a life by design. I mean, I'm living in Italy. I have my own company.
Yeah.
And I believe that I'm called to support folks of color on their self-liberation journeys because there is so much goodness, there's so much power in us that has been suppressed and oppressed. And it's such a beautiful thing when I see a client realize they are enough as they are, realize they don't have to like dilute themselves in order to like be palatable to dominant culture when they like really tap into their power. Like it's such amazing to see them unleash that. And then what they do with that is they create more goodness and more impact in the world. And like it's all amazing. And so I feel super blessed to have been called to do this and to be able to do this and for people to trust me with that journey as well.
Yeah. So cool, Nicole. You are, we celebrate you and, all the community, it's important and we need more light workers like you in the world. It's important. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your work. It is really important work, like Laura is saying, and I always go back to this quote in my mind that's like, we are only as well like as our community as well. And so it's like helping our community, extending that forward. And I'm gonna come back to that thought, but I don't know if Laura had another question, but I do have a question. So go ahead, Laura.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to, talk more to Nicole and, her life by design. She lives in Italy right now, enjoying all the amazing food and the culture. Yeah. So that's really beautiful to witness on your socials as well as the work that you're doing. So, we wanted to highlight you here today on the Conscious Tea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So I wanted to ask, now that we're working on ourselves, right? And you've given us all these amazing tools to add to our toolkit to work on ourselves for the upcoming year. That made my mind think, all right, now how can we help like people around us, And so since you work so specifically with like first and second generation immigrants and just people, how can we help maybe our family overcome that survival mode of thinking and kind of tap into this liberated like living? How are there some tips that you can give us that we can offer to those that we can notice that they're still in that survival mode?
Yeah, that's such a great question. And I get that question a lot from my clients who are like, wait, now I feel good. How can I like help my family?
Yeah.
And so, I mean, if you have that relationship with your family, definitely I encourage you to have the conversation. I think one of the most amazing tools we have is storytelling and sharing of your experience. And so if you're open to sharing your experience of like how you've used the tool, how you've shifted, how it's changed for you, I think that's really powerful. And I think also, I feel like a lot of my clients' families have learned just from my clients modeling a different dynamic for them.
Yeah.
Just like, I'm going to be brave and change this dynamic, set this boundary, make a different choice. And it doesn't have to be preachy, but them just seeing that change can also be really impactful.
So badass. These are all amazing gems that I want to take with me and keep with us for the rest of our lives. So thank you so much, Nicole. And tell us about your services and what can people expect from you for 2022 and also your Living Bravely program.
Yes. Thanks for asking. 2022, I got big plans, big energy coming in. So yeah, my focus for next year is really expanding my Living Bravely program, which is my group coaching program specifically for immigrants and immigrant descendants of color, where we unlearn our survival programming and we learn new beliefs. We learn new beliefs that are going to support what we want to create in the world. So that is going, I'm opening, I have a team of coaches now. We're going to be able to expand our impact, our reach. So if you're interested in just even learning more about that, definitely feel free to DM me, hit me up, and we can just have a conversation.
Yes, awesome. And you guys could find more of her services on NicoleCruzCoaching.com. And the link, I believe, is the Living Bravely group. So that's, check out that top part of her website. Yes. And please share this with a friend. If this resonated with you, we're going to repost this in like 5 minutes. And follow Nicole, please. And if you listen to our podcast, please share with a friend, or, you know, for our Christmas gift, just subscribe and share with us.
And leave us a review.
Appreciate that. Subscribe. You know, there's all these podcasts out here. We got to compete. And Nicole, so if you have any closing remarks on, like, you know, any tips or anything, like, just, I could listen to you for another hour, but if you have any amazing other tips, please go ahead and drop them in. And if you guys have any questions, add them in the chat now before we sign off. All right, y'all?
Yeah. Well, I just want to thank you both for having me. I've been following you all for a long time. Laura, you and I have been connected for years, and I just feel so honored to be on here. So thank you for that. I guess last tip, you know, be gentle with yourself. You know, be gentle with, you know, we can plan all we want, and then, as you know, the year can unfold how it unfolds. And beyond just goals, I encourage you to think about, like, how you want to feel. What do you want to experience next year, rather than what you want to achieve? And so, yeah, hopefully that gets entered into your 2022 reflection as well.
Oh, that's so perfect. Yeah, I'm gonna re-listen to this, take notes. Your words, you know, deeply resonated with many, I'm sure, and we just appreciate your time and knowledge and wisdom so much.
Yes, thank you guys so much for listening.
Thank you so much.
With the Conscious Kitchen podcast, and we hope you guys have a great new year. Keep it healthy and safe, and we love y'all. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much, Nicole. Ciao. Enjoy your Italian lifestyle and love. And all the amazing desserts and pastries. Thank you, Liz.
Love you guys. Have a good holiday. Talk to you guys soon.
Happy New Year.
Thanks for joining again. Bye, guys.
Bye.